farming is your life. It's not a job you do, it's your life. It's like being a Christian. You know, it's not just something you say you are it. And it's Zane. Zane is a farmer. When I see him out there, he's so happy.
I just think it's like his great love. He just loves it. It's all he's ever known. He just loves it.
It's not just a part of who he is, like it's who he is. My dad is synonymous with farming and farming with my dad.
I think being a farmer and being Zane are one and the same. I don't think you can separate the two. I think he grew up in this. It's all he's ever known. It's what he does, but it's also what he loves.
And if you look back at how he's always farmed and you hear the stories, it's just a great example, a great testament to how to live and support your family the right way.
I've been farming for 50 years. I remember being in Chicago and working in Chicago. My dad didn't have very much land to farm, and he called one night. My brother and I were both working in Chicago, and he called and said this particular farm right here was for sale. He said, if you guys want to farm, we'll buy the farm together, and then you guys come back from Chicago and we'll work it out. And I had a praying wife. That was probably the best day of my life when I got married. A Christian gal from Chicago, and she was not a farm girl. She had a lot of things that we had to adjust to.
I grew up in Arlington Heights. I had never known a farmer besides Farmer Green Jeans. And then I met Zane, and I was looking to go to Northwestern Law School, already been accepted, had a scholarship, wasn't looking to end up on a farm. But there was something about him I knew if I let him go, I'd be sorry my whole life. And I would have.
Life on the farm was amazing, and I think that's probably because he always treated us like he would have treated boys. Like, he never thought we couldn't do anything because we were girls, so we drove the grain cart. We learned to drive at a very young age. He gave us four-wheelers and trusted us to drive, crazy around here. And he was just such a great dad because even though he didn't have boys, we did everything that he did and all the other farm kids did, and he was just very trustworthy with everything he gave us.
And there was no restrictions or boundaries for us. I mean, just to jump in the tractor with him, to come home after school and see him, for him to be his own boss and get off whenever he wanted to come to our games. I just have such an appreciation for how hard he worked, but then what a priority he made his kids and all of our activities, and they never missed anything, him and my mom.
I don't really ever remember him missing a game or a concert. He was always there no matter what. The only thing I can remember him missing was in elementary. I convinced him that teacher conferences were optional, that the good kids really didn't want, the teachers did not want you to come if you had a good child. It just messed up their night. So he missed like 3 or 4 of those because I told him they were optional. That's probably all he ever missed. I was very convincing as a kindergarten first grader.
My dad never made Kim and I feel bad for being girls, but it's almost like this, it's not the best thing when you're a farmer to have 2 girls. And my dad was always so respectful of us and would allow us to help if we wanted, but he never pushed us. And I think that's why we've just always loved being farm girls.
Some people say, are you sad you don't have any sons, to help you farm, and I never was, it never did bother me that I didn't have sons, They fulfilled the part of my life that I didn't need sons. I think God knew that. And I'm very, very pleased to have 2 great daughters, and their husbands and the kids are a big part of my life.
I remember when I was dating Kim, she always talked about how hard Zane was, and she would tell stories about if she'd bring a date home, like he'd go out and burn some, pile of trash and come in with soot all over his face. And I remember the first time I met him, we were in a much calmer scene. I think we were in a restaurant when I walked in, so he was very good to me. He was very kind, and you know, has always been that way. You know, the thoughts of Zane being this mean, gruff, you know, soot-covered guy is far from it.
We always call it, you know, the city kid married the farm girl, and to come in from that world, I could have been met with a guy who was going to give me the cold shoulder, who was going to make me feel stupid for not understanding this way of life, or, you know, I don't know how to drive a combine, or, you know, load a grain cart, or whatever it is. And what I got was a guy that was just super warm and wanted to welcome me into the family. I always felt accepted here. Always loved that. And Carol obviously is a huge part of that too. Behind every man is a great man is a better woman.
Something that's just absolutely amazing about Zane is how amazing he is with Lexi and Ava. He has just opened up a new world to them. You know, us being so-called, you know, city slickers.
Well, it's so nice to be able to come home in the summer and have the girls have the Midwest values and all of the things that we grew up loving. They get to do for like 2 months. They let us stay here for 2 months, which is so nice of them. I love that the girls get to do all of the same things that we did, and they love coming. Like, people in Arizona will say, how many more years are your girls gonna wanna come to Iowa? There's no Wi-Fi, their friends aren't there, but every year they wanna stay longer, and they just cry when they leave because they love being here and being with him and cooking with my mom and riding four-wheelers and just all of the amazing outdoor activities there are to do here.
You know, our boys have this rare opportunity where there's always going to be a place to go. As loud and as noisy and as chaotic as our world gets, we can always come back to Iowa and just see simple life, see what life is when you just put your hand to the plow, you create something from nothing, you put the hard work in, you see the harvest, you reap the reward, and then you do it again, you know? And there's something that's really beautiful about the boys being able to come and experience that kind of life. And the fact that they can, you know, do the stuff that you can really only do on a farm. You don't go to, you know, the city when you're 13 and have somebody chuck you the keys to a pickup truck and say, like, go bring lunch out to your papa. You know, it's not gonna happen in there, but it's gonna happen here, and that's really fun.
I think they view him as almost like a book character because we live in the city, and they read the books about the big machinery and the big equipment, and we're kind of in this isolated city life, and then we come to the farm and it's just acre after acre of exploration, and it's all hands on deck and anything goes. So I think they just come here and have fun. They just get to be boys, they get to explore, and he's the best at facilitating their adventure. I mean, he's all about safety, but he's also all about exploration.
When they show up at the farm, you can just tell what's going through their mind, like, look at all this space we got, you know, and our little backyard, you know, like, look at this huge yard, you know, and then we got a gator to drive or a four-wheeler, and I think they just can't hardly believe it when they show up.
I like to drive pickup trucks and cars and like tractors and the gator and four-wheelers, so it's really fun to drive those because you can't do that in Phoenix or anywhere else.
I like to ride in the tractor, and I like to help him like in the shop. In Phoenix, you're all like crowded, and in Iowa, you're just like.
What's your favorite thing to do with Papa?
I know, get the corn out from a bucket and pour it in.
Do you like to ride anything around the farm?
Ride the gator and ride and used to run a four-wheeler sometimes.
That's your favorite.
And I like carrying boxes for him, and I like putting garbage for him. I like finding centipedes.
Oh my goodness.
And I like finding worms, and I like finding caterpillars.
Has Papa taught you how to do anything on the farm?
Yes.
What did he teach you how to do?
Nothing. I like his jokes and his smile, and like that. He's like always like funny and like he always is like really honest and kind to everyone.
What else do you like to do with Papa?
Ride a small tractor.
Ride in the tractor.
Ride in the small tractor I did yesterday.
And what's your favorite thing about the farm? What do you like most about the farm?
Everything.
Everything. Do you think you're going to be a farmer? You do? What does a farmer do?
Work very hard.
I can't really imagine him doing anything else because he's done this for so long, and that's what I've known. It's really cool to think that he's been doing this for a while, and it's kind of hard to think that he's stopping, but it's fun. It's cool.
I would say one of the best days probably would be when he found that tractor that his dad got him.
When I came back from Vietnam in 1969, my dad bought me a brand new John Deere tractor, and we had never had a John Deere tractor before that was brand new. That was our first one. We always had red tractors, so that was kind of a big deal. We used it for 4 years, sold it to a dealer, never knew where it went, never cared. And in 2006, this is so God, because I got this flyer in the mail and it said auction Friday, August 8th, 06. And I'm thinking in my mind, I should go to this auction. So every day in my shop when I'm working, the thought would come in my mind, you should go to this auction. Every day for like a week. So I went to the auction 2 hours late. I didn't know what was on the auction, it's just known for junk. So I show up at the auction, my neighbor is standing beside this particular tractor that I had bought new in '69. He said, hey Zane, you should buy this tractor. And I said, why is that? He said, I don't know, it's a 40-20. You like 40-20s, you should buy it. When he said that, I looked at the tractor and I said to him, this is my tractor, I bought this thing brand new in '69. He said, well, how do you know that? And I said, well, I can tell you, I can point out about 6 different things that I had done to it, which was recognizable. And he said, well, then you got to buy it. And then after he said that, I look up and the auctioneers are like, right here. I got to decide right now if I'm going to buy this. So at that point, he bought it. It was complete junk. The guy had just trashed it. The engine was shot, the tires were shot. And so I rebuilt the whole thing, painted it, rebuilt it all. And now, you know, I guess God knew that I like to go on these tractor rides, and that's the big thing in Iowa now, you know. Now I do that, and God led me to that sale that day. That was not an accident, you know. People could say whatever they want to say. So, yeah, I enjoy doing that now.
He's the hardest working guy I've ever met. He'll go out early on a rainy, snowy, he doesn't care what day it is, lay under a truck, fix something. And he really loves God. And that's the story of Zane farming, is how faithful God's been. He started with nothing. They were so broke, and there were times where it looked like we were going to be broke again. But God was faithful, and God brought us through, and he gave us such a wonderful life on the farm.
I think so many biblical principles have been played out through him being a farmer and that being so much a part of our lives, that things that other people maybe struggle to understand biblically come so easy to us because of living on a farm, like the principle of you reap what you sow. My dad walked that out consistently with attending church when it was rainy and cold and snowy, and we would drive an hour and a half because he had to usher, and he would literally sow those seeds even when it wasn't convenient, it wasn't easy. And we saw that play out, and we saw those rewards come in his diligence with the farm. The harvest would be greater than any of our neighbors. And I truly believe that God has rewarded my parents in so many ways because they've sown such good seeds over the years. and they're good, kind people, but everything that they've done has been to honor God, even when it was hard. And so I'm just truly grateful for that, because it's made trusting God in the hard times much easier, because I've seen it come to pass and I've seen God's word return fruitful in their lives.
I think I just can't imagine him doing anything else, because it's makes him so happy. He just loves it so much. I can't imagine him as a banker or really anything other than a farmer, because I just think that God made him to do that, and he loves every day that he is here doing that. He's such a good example of faithfulness and just very trustworthy. If he says he's going to do something, he is.
He's always looking out for others. He's always being considerate to others, and he just is a true example of a hardworking Christian family man.
Best part, I guess, of him is just looking at his family. You got people who love each other and want to be around each other, and what better testament to a man than looking at his family and seeing that they all still, as adults with their kids of their own, want to be around each other, want to love each other. That's Zane.
I love Zane. I love the farm. Thrilled I got to raise my kids here, and I know he'll always be a farmer, whether he's actively farming with Johnson Brothers or not, because he loves the earth. He loves God, and he loves growing things. People say, what are you going to do when he retires? I'm sure he'll still be out. I'm sure he'll still be out and about every day, because he wakes up happy every day just to be here and to farm.
Just the fact that, kind of like my dad was, he just left the Bible talks about a good name, and my dad had that, and I hope that I leave that too.